Hello and welcome to the finale event of the Rotary International District 7600 RYLA 2022 weekend. We had expected to be at the 4-H Airfield and Conference Center this weekend, but Omicron had different plans. And so right when we had to make that very vital decision, we made the decision that for everyone's safety and best interest, we would do RYLA virtually again. And I just want to give a shout out to Rotary District 7600 for having the faith and the dedication to youth leadership to engage a virtual experience. We know that we can have Zoom fatigue and screen fatigue, but we really have believed that even though we are being dealt with quite a hand during these times, that it is all the more important to focus on youth and leadership. So I just want to give a shout out to the Rotary clubs throughout District 7600 who have recruited delegates for this weekend. We've had about 40 students to participate. We've had RYLA alumni to return as group leaders as usual. And so we're very appreciative for that. And we've just had a tremendous weekend. And I have to give a super shout out to all of the delegates who have been absolutely incredible to work with as usual. I'm so proud of them. And as many of our guests this weekend have shared, they are remarkable young people. They could have been anywhere this weekend, but they have been here. They have been active. They have been engaged. And from the feedback that I've received from our guests, they have been absolutely inspirational to the folks who have joined us in our space this weekend. So I do want to share briefly before we get started. I know everyone is here to see. I have not seen the group projects. I'm very excited to see them myself. But before that, I do want to share just a little bit in terms of what we have experienced this weekend, and also who has joined us this weekend for this RYLA Journey 2022. So I'm going to share my screen, and hopefully when I do that, I'll select the correct screen. Let's see. Here we go. So we have been in an experience this weekend where we have been, we've had a theme: reframe, refocus, and reimagine. And we are always looking to stand in line with our international themes and objectives. So we've definitely been focusing on being more and growing more and serving to change lives, and of course, empowering girls. And the theme for this individual RYLA in District 7600 has been reframing, refocusing, and reimagining our communities to be equitable, more equitable spaces for everyone. And so the RYLA handbook does encourage diversity, equity, and inclusion. And so we are right in line with the international goals in terms of thinking about our communities as more equitable spaces for everyone. There are some inspirations for this weekend. Paul Robeson's quote is one that speaks to me. Artists are the gatekeepers of truth. We are the civilization's radical voice. And so we have definitely invited some very talented, gifted, and passionate artists into RYLA weekend, and you will find out exactly who they are. Also, I was blessed recently to take a trip to South Africa. And as a result, I began to read Long Walk to Freedom, so Nelson Mandela and his work as just the extraordinary human being that he is and was on the planet to us, has definitely been an inspiration for me in terms of thinking about how to reframe, refocus, and reimagine our communities. We started our weekend off with True Colors. And I say that actually because the students take the True Colors assessment before the weekend starts. And that is always an excellent experience. I think that the students always learn a tremendous amount about themselves and others, and how they engage as a member of groups and also as leaders. Of course, we introduce the students to the four-way test that is near and dear to us in Rotary. We ask ourselves of the things we think, say, and do, is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? And will it be beneficial to all concerned? We started each day with a community meditation and light yoga and stretching from practitioners from the Bare Soul Yoga community. So a shout out to Charles, who led us in our practice yesterday morning, and today to Ashley Williams, who's actually the founder of Bare Soul. Yesterday, we also had to join us here, individuals from Rise for Youth. I'm going to make sure that I'm able to say the young man's name because I forgot it yesterday. Robert Allen was here. He is one of the youth in Rise for Youth, and also Corey Jones, who is on staff there. And he shared about the Youth Development Academy that's coming up. We'll be sharing information about that again to the students because there's an internship opportunity with that organization coming up. That is a paid internship opportunity that actually pays $1,000 a month for 6 months. So that's very, very exciting. Rise for Youth is an organization that is reimagining how to help young people so that they do not end up actually to eradicate incarceration for our young citizens. So we're really appreciative for the passion that they brought to us yesterday in explaining their advocacy to end youth incarceration. Then we were joined by Raytwan Fields, who is an artist, author, and just a brilliant human being. And he shared and did some poetry readings from his poetry book. And we're so thankful for the way that he led us yesterday in helping us to just be more mindful of our humanity and the compassion that we can have for others. Then Zibe, the poet, Zenobia Bay, joined us here at RYLA headquarters, and we had a very lively engagement. We listened to first and watched her video, her music video, Pray, and she shared about her work as a community advocate, an activist, youth advocate, and mental health professional, and also owner and founder of the nonprofit Community 50/50. This morning, after our yoga practice, we were joined by Miss Lawanda Rains. Actually, she was here with us for our yoga practice, and then she led us in a little bit more advanced movement. She's a modern dancer and just a brilliant woman. She invited us to Mardi Gras next week at the Dogtown Dance Theater. So definitely want to share about that. And I think as a result of the choreography she shared, we now have a RYLA line dance. So I'm very excited about that. And then we had the incomparable Nikki McMullen to bless us with her beautiful voice and extraordinary talent. And she's still here in the Zoom with us. And so the youth, of course, yesterday, we were introduced to the Rotary areas of focus, promoting peace, fighting disease, providing clean water, sanitation, and hygiene, saving mothers and children, supporting education, growing local economies, and protecting the environment. And for their projects, their group projects, which you'll see in just a moment, they use the WeVideo platform to create a film where they are challenged to introduce a Rotary area of focus and to create a short film that could give Rotary some ideas about what they think about reframing, refocusing, and reimagining our communities as equitable spaces for all. So that's a quick recap of our weekend. And without further ado, again, thank you to everyone. I will unpin myself here and turn everything over to Raghavan, our tech support, who will play the videos. If anyone has some ideas in terms of any of the group leaders kind of want to jump in and introduce, or it's certainly open for that, or if you just want to have Raghavan to play them and then we do those types of introductions afterwards. However we want to flow in this space right now is totally okay with me.
Katina, are we going to be doing them in order 1, 2, 3, 4?
As far as the groups, are you going to play them in order, Raghavan? I'm seeing him say yes.
Okay, yeah. That'll make it easier to grade.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
I'll make sure I call out the group before I start a video, Rudy, just in case.
Thank
you. Sounds good. Thank you.
So shall I play the videos, Katina, or do you want the leaders to introduce?
Let's see. Well, I think it'd be a great time to hear from the group leaders right now and anyone from the group. So group 1 would be up first. Yeah.
Hello, everybody. My name is Spencer Glatt. I am a member of the James Madison University Rotaract Club, formerly a member and president of the First Colonial High School Interact Club, And I had the great pleasure of leading Group 1 throughout the weekend and through their process of creating a video on water and water sanitation.
Okay, judges group 1.
Water to survive. Plants, animals, humans, and all living organisms. Our water sources are consistently diminishing due to all sorts of causes, natural disasters, human waste, and pollution. As researchers have discovered, there is only a small percentage of clean water. Not all of this water can be accessed by humans.
784 million people live without basic access to clean water. That translates to about 1 in 4 individuals who lack a sustainable water supply. Our world roughly consists of about 70% water. However, only 3% of that is potable drinking water for global communities, less waterborne diseases, a healthier education environment for children, and a healthier lifestyle for families. Overall, are a few of many beneficial impacts of clean water supply within a community.
LifeStraw has already helped many areas with addressing the situation of lacking clean and reliable water. Partnering with LifeStraw and using their community autofill water filter for communities in need can help access water within these areas. Taking one step at a time, we will continue to work with LifeStraw and have healthy and better water for many communities over the world.
Rather than only focusing on the community, we are also working together to focus on individuals. We have created our very own resizable water filter that can fit on many different bottles. Both largely and smally, focusing on water filtration can provide families with multiple ways to access clean drinking water for a healthier lifestyle. This 3-part filter consists of a grid-like material that removes larger rocks and sediments from the water, which is right here. The second filter, which is on the inside, right here, is a cheesecloth material that removes very small particles and bacteria. The final filter is granulated carbon, right here, and that will be used to improve its flavor, smell, and remove other parasites. The inside of this filter contains 10 springs that are used to condense and expand so that this filter can fit in all types of water bottles. The white surrounding right here is a waterproof flexible fabric that doesn't allow water to pass through, so that the only way the water can go is through the filter. And the last part of this 3-part filter is this rubber surrounding that seals and connects to the inside of the water bottle.
Now here is a time lapse of our filter being modeled.
Overall, cleaning our world's water supply is not something that just happens overnight. We must work together to find solutions to innovate cleaner water sources. Collaboration is a necessity. Working together as a team, we can provide clean water sources for everyone, creating lasting global impact. No matter what you do to contribute to making water filtration accessible to everyone, whether it's helping one person, a few people, a town, or an entire community. Your contribution to society is an important step in molding the accessibility of clean water for everyone, regardless of location. It takes each and every single one of us and the contribution we can make to work towards a more sustainable and brighter future for all.
That's the end of the video for group 1. I'm assuming group 2 leader will speak about the group.
Hello, my name is Ashka Tasnim, and I'm currently the president of my Interact Club at Hermitage High School, and I hope to continue on at a Rotaract Club in college as well. I help lead group 2 to make their project on the benefits of accessible education.
Okay. I'm going to play group 2's video.
The National Education Association, or known as the NEA, lists several studies that show the vast benefits of early childhood education. These benefits include lower rates of teenage pregnancy, reduced juvenile delinquency, better scores on standardized tests, a more remarkable ability to move through the grades without having to repeat any, and a greater employment levels and higher wages in adulthood.
Education at a young age provides opportunities and insights for the future. A future where children of the community will be able to seek jobs and provide for their families, and a future with education.
Illiteracy often causes future unemployment, a lack of understanding of health information, and higher incarceration rates. These effects can be detrimental to the life of many individuals.
Children who do not have the opportunity to go to a good source of education or are imprisoned do not have the same privilege as many of the children their age do. For example, 85% of youth in juvenile court read at a basic or below basic level. This is part of our community who would benefit greatly with the advancement of education.
Some causes of illiteracy include a family history of illiteracy, a lack of books at home, a lack of parent engagement in their education, a non-native status, and a lack of access to online education sources. 781 million adults are illiterate, and 58 million children are not in school. These children are missing the opportunities and growth of their future.
80% of children living in economically disadvantaged communities will lose reading skills over summer breaks due to the lack of access to books and other resources, according to Reading is Fundamental.
If all students in low-income countries left school with basic reading skills, 171 million people could be lifted out of poverty, which would be equivalent to a 12% cut in world poverty.
Literacy refers to the ability to read and write, whereas education refers to acquiring knowledge. We want people to acknowledge the need for basic education and what we stand for in the world of opportunities.
We should have the ability to have access to free information and the ability to stand on our own. We should have free help because some students can't learn and write like others.
Rotary can help the youth, kids, and/or younger adults that don't have access, the ability to learn or get help, and to do what they desire to do in the future.
Our organization would provide this change in education and build learning centers to create brighter futures.
How would we do it? Our organization is comprised of youth in the community that plans activities and engagement with the other youth in their community to seek change in the education system via reading out loud, trivia nights, math competitions with friends, and more. So while our organization encourages youth to love learning, it is constantly providing income to build more learning centers in the community.
These events provide connections in the community, and while connecting with other youth from the community, raise money to build educational centers with equal opportunity for a brighter future.
Group 3 leader.
Hi, everyone. I'm Allie. I was one of the two Group 3 leaders, and my group worked on a video focused on the environment.
Judges, I'm playing Group 3 video.
The history of Tangier Island. John Smith discovered Tangier Island in 1608 as he was exploring the Chesapeake Bay. The population has a history in oyster harvesting, fishing, and soft crab harvesting. The island has a population of 727 people and is located in the Chesapeake Bay, 13 miles from the eastern shore mainland.
The causes of the problem. The initial thought of the locals that have lived in Tangier Island believe that the main cause of the island's drowning and shrinkage is due to erosion that are caused by wind-driven waves, which are created by the friction between wind and surface water. Although these are well thought out reasonings behind the shrinkage, it doesn't thoroughly explain what's happening currently. Geographical reasoning behind the shrinkage of Tangier Island. This problem is mainly caused by the ongoing global rise in sea levels and climate change due to the global warming which has increased around the 1800s. A great example of this would be the melting of the Laurentide ice sheets that causes subsidence. Impacts of the slightest storms in surrounding areas have created irreversible destruction, destroying at least 10 of the only 210 homes in the small town.
Due to Tangier Island's sandy foundation and the lack of diversity in flora, the island is eroding away at a rate of 9 acres per year. That, coupled with the rising sea levels, means that Tangier Island is expected to completely disappear by the year 2040. This spells the relocation of a unique community that's lived on the island for centuries, and the loss of a culture spread across all the fishing communities along and within the Chesapeake Bay. This is not an option.
Yeah, when you see fish swimming on your road, you got major problems, that's for sure.
Tangier Island is big in the soft shell crab and oyster industries because of harvests and exports. The weather conditions can impact the decisions on whether you want to go to the mainland, go crab and oyster harvesting, or do anything in the mainland, which is a 12-mile, 90-minute ferry ride.
In the case of an emergency, taking into the account of length of time it takes to go back to the mainland, which is 90 minutes, could be a huge problem considering that the 450 people who live on Tangier Island cannot evacuate on the ferry all at one time. Whenever traveling back to Tangier Island from the mainland, it's crucial to know what the weather conditions are like because it might delay or take longer as a result to return.
Now, the question we must ask is, what should we do about the threatening sea level rise of Tangier Island? In the past, residents believed that the best way to solve this problem was with a man-made approach. Although the extremely expensive cost of around $330 million to create a seawall was not the best option. Our group believes that the best option would be to protect the environment and diminish the effects through a sustainable and biological solution. The sustainable and biological solution can be seen at different scales, starting with individuals. Tangier Island citizens should focus on even the smallest acts to reduce their personal carbon footprint. As far as the local scale, service projects such as
Fundraisers, community service, and bringing awareness through education are all part of the bigger solution. The best way to carry out our sustainable and biological solution would be through implementing local wetlands. These local wetlands can be created and promoted through planting more local fauna, such as Virginia iris, swamp milkweed, southern wax myrtle, longleaf pine, sassafras, and many other native wetland plants. Wetland plants are the most prime option because they can soak in salty seawater from the sea while steering away from this invasive species that could potentially cause more harm to the island. With assistance from the native ecologists, the Virginia Native Plant Society, Virginia Department of Conservation and Recreation, and Virginia Department of Environmental Quality, Tangier Island can have experts guiding locals and professionals to make effective wetland habitats.
All right. Group 4 leader, the last group.
Hi, I'm Morgan Stanley. I'm the current president of the Greensville County High School Interact Club, and I had the pleasure of leading Group 4 this year. They have put together a video that promotes an organization they created that focuses on raising awareness about the environmental impact on our economy.
Judges, I'm going to play video for Group 4.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Sylvie Artemagagnon, reporter for Environmental Education News. Today we'll have an illuminating group joining us. They call themselves MIA, the Monetary Environmental Educators of America. This bright group of young community leaders focuses on raising awareness of how our environmental choices impact the U.S. economy. We are privileged to showcase their knowledge here on ENN, where they will enlighten us on how the environment is affecting the economy. Without further ado, allow me to introduce Julio Cortez, one of the many founders of MIA.
Thank you, Sylvia. As mentioned, my name is Julio Cortez, and in the world today, the environment has had major effects on our economy and how we live on a daily basis, resulting in both negative and positive impacts. MEEA is spreading the word about the environment and the effects on the economy through social media as well as many in-person activities. One of my co-workers is here today to help me with some of the research that has been found.
Thank you, Helen. My name is Alex Meany. I work with the MEEA to educate people on how we can have a healthy economy and environment. A lot of jobs will be lost when we cut down our fossil fuels, but many more jobs will be created when green energy companies expand their outreach. MEEA is working to educate workers on how they can still make money when working with green energy.
Environmental factors and a decrease in natural resources affect our economy negatively and positively. Julio, could you explain how it has an impact on our economy and what MIA is doing to help?
Natural resources will create a sustainable substitute for current jobs in the fossil fuel industry. MEEA is working with companies to better communicate with workers on financial details and how they can continue to support themselves in this new industry.
Alex, how would you describe the impact MIA is making with people around the country?
MEEA is having an amazing impact on the people of the country. It is teaching them about global warming, green jobs, and the effect of climate change has on the economy. A lot of people have helped enforce MEEA's values.
Thank you so much for watching our show today. And give a hand to the wonderful members of MIA, Julio Cortez and Alex Minyard. Mia seems like it is really thriving and impacting everyone positively to help the economy. I am looking forward to seeing all of the great work Mia will do in the future.
Okay. Excellent work, everyone. Excellent work. Very good. Very good. I am definitely proud of each of you. Thank you so much. You understood the
Tina?
assignment? Yes.
Can we say something?
Sure.
So this is our 10th RYLA in a row, with the exception of 2020 when there wasn't one. And I've got to say, this was the best group of projects, the most realistic, the projects that mean the most in the last 11 years of us doing this.
Yeah. We had RYLA in 2020. Didn't we?
We had it in 21. I'm not sure if we had it in 20. I can't
think
remember.
2020 was our last. It was right before everything shut down. It was right before everything shut down. So yeah, we did have it. But thank you. Weren't they? It was. I'm sitting here. I'm like impressed because I would have to agree with you in terms of just really understanding what to do and how to advocate in terms of the areas of focus and really having just an emphasis on great content. So I would agree with you. Thank you, Rudy. Okay. Wow. Just want to commend all of you. That's the substance of all of those was great. I am a little speechless right now because I'm overwhelmed with how well you all did in such a short time. And I have to say, they really only had today to work on these because yesterday we had so much content in terms of guests coming in. And so really the working on the project, most of that happened, the most intense part of that happened between like 11:30 this morning and 4:30 this afternoon. So you're talking about basically a 5-hour time frame. So you guys did a wonderful job. Thank you so much. Absolutely amazing. Yes. Are there any delegates who would like to share about your experience this weekend? And I guess we'll start with, we'll just say if anyone wants to share, and then I'll go by group and see if anybody wants to.
All right, we would actually like to go first. So we came into this like little program thing this weekend, not knowing really anything about it. We were kind of told last minute about it. And so we didn't know what we were coming into. And I actually had a friend who did do it, but he went in person. So like this was like the virtual, so that was kind of a bummer. So I came in here a little bummed out, kind of like, oh, virtual. And then I feel like we were just gonna sit down and just read slides like school, right? But then everyone started coming, the yoga, the singers, like the different activities, like all this stuff made it amazing. I had a great experience. We both did. Yeah. And then today, especially, we really got to go in the groups and work together to create projects. All the groups did amazing. All the videos were amazing. And it was cool to see that, the little time that we had, how we were able to put a whole bunch of stuff together into one. So I personally think I had a great experience, and it was well worth, not doing anything this weekend and just sitting here, being with you guys. So thank you for letting me come, or letting us come.
Thank you. Would you introduce yourselves? Tell us your names, where you're from, and which Rotary Club sponsored you.
Okay, so I'm Julio Cortez, and
I'm Alex Minier.
We're actually from Suffolk. So we're all like Low, Virginia. And I think it's the Great Bridge Rotary Club that sponsored us.
Okay, excellent. Thank you for being here, and thank you for your active participation and sharing. And thank you for sharing your experience with us in this platform today. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity.
You're welcome.
I would love to go next. I had an amazing group, and I thoroughly enjoyed watching everyone else's projects. I am so proud of my group. We all worked together really well, and I also heard about this really last minute, and so I was really and also did not really know that much about what this was going to be like, but I'm so excited to have the chance to participate. My name is Sylvie Artemagagnon. I live in Chesterfield, and I was sponsored by the Brandon Mill Rotary Club.
Excellent. Thank you. Yes, I got a call from an email from David Necessary, I think Monday of last week, saying that Sylvie had spoken at their Rotary Club. So while you have the floor, let me put hold on one second. Sylvie was asking what it was about. And so she's Googleable, as people say. And so I looked her up. And so do you want to share what type of what organization that you are the founder of?
Sure, thank you. I'd love to. So I am the founder of a climate activism and consumer education project. So my project is called TAC, which stands for Teens Acting for Carbon Capture. And the main goals of TAC are to educate consumers on the climate change and global warming, as well as how they can lower their carbon footprint and how they can be part of the solution. So I educate these people through social media, in-person activities, and then I also teach people how plants can solve the climate crisis, and the impact that plants have in our world.
Excellent. Thank you so much. So I've got to ask you very, very specifically, I know you shared how much you enjoyed the weekend, but in terms of what I said it would be and what it was, how did it match up?
It was so much more. I got to meet so many new people and really put, all of my knowledge and my energy into this awesome project. And yeah, it just ended up being so much more fun and yeah, it was amazing.
Excellent. Excellent. Thank you for sharing that. I appreciate it.
I can go next. I am Phoebe Cahoon. I live in Prince George County, and I was sponsored by the Rotary Club of Prince George County. I really loved this weekend. I came in here and I thought it was going to be a more boring conference that would be just like school. I thought we'd have presentations on exactly what people think that leadership is and definitions. But no, I came in, we immediately had great group projects, and I got to meet new people. I got to have new experiences that I never would have otherwise experienced. I met a lot of great people. My group was awesome. We all worked together and we had a lot of fun. I liked everything that we did this weekend. I mean, I met new people. They kept switching it up. I figured out about poets and artists around this area that I'd never known of. It was a pretty great weekend.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Phoebe, for sharing. I really appreciate you being here. And I'm so thankful for all of your feedback in terms of the virtual experience. We work really hard to make sure that it's not like school and that it's not boring. And that even though we have to utilize Zoom, that it can still be engaging and impactful. So thank you so much for sharing. Does anyone else want to share about their weekend?
I can go real quick. I just want to say the same thing basically everyone else said. I wasn't really expecting to be what it was. I was invited by Miss Moss, and she came to my classroom and was talking about it. So I'd like to thank her. She talked about how no one in my school district was offered the chance to come here. So I know this is something that was really important to her. So I decided I wanted to step in and be able to come here. I wasn't really expecting as much as I did, and I'm really happy because I met new people. I have people who compliment me on my room, and I feel like I made some new friends. And I also in my group 1, and I'm happy that I got to experience this and learn about new different things that I haven't really thought about learning. And also the new poets and the artists that we also listen to at the beginning of the day.
Excellent, wonderful. Yes, I am in the Rotary Club of Hopewell, and I still do work with Hopewell schools through a community program, and Couture is one of those students. And I got the email the other day that no one in Hopewell wanted to come to RYLA. I was like, what? And so her classroom got all of my passion for RYLA, I think, at one time. And I'm so glad that they showed up and came today and this weekend. Thank you so much, Couture, and thank you for your feedback. So anybody else? Okay. All right. Sandra, I just got your message. So I'm going to dip out and find that so we can rectify that. And did you have like one of the items that we discussed earlier? Would you like to, unless someone else wants to share? Let me introduce you. Hold on one second. So for the folks out here in Rotary Land, I just want to introduce you to Sandra Marr. And we've already had folks, we recognize the language. We've already had folks trying to recruit her to Rotary, and that's fine. She is great. She has been a co-facilitator this weekend. She is a teacher at the collegiate schools, and she's a science teacher. And so I am from old school educators who were cross-curriculum educators. It didn't matter what subject you taught, you were going to learn about the full understanding of everything in their classrooms and how everything connects together and how all of the subject areas really are connected and help us to be whole people. And so Sandra is a science teacher who engages civic engagement. And so I love that. And she's a dancer as well. So she's an artist and she understands. And so I met her through my brother's dance collective, Claves Unidos. My brother, Kevin Lamar Jones, is the founder and creative director of Claves Unidos, and Sandra has danced with him for a number of years. And I worked with her last year on a project that she was working with her students on at school. And so I thought that she would be perfect to join us this weekend. So I just want to introduce her to you and also say thank you, Sandra Marr, for your help the entire weekend and even before the weekend to offer suggestions and to share your expertise and most of all, your heart and passion. So I'm going to dip out, and I think that she may want to lead you all in one last activity that everyone's able to participate in.
Yes, thank you. That was a very kind introduction. I'm so glad and honored to be here with you all. So as was suggested, even though I teach science, art is near and dear to my heart, as is movement. And I promise that this is going to connect to the work that you do, but we're going to do something to kind of shake off maybe the nerves that you have from presenting and being vulnerable and having fun. So if you are able or willing, it will work just a smidge better if you can be on video, but if that doesn't work for you for whatever reason, that is okay. But in a moment, when I say we're gonna start the party, you're going to unmute at least, and we're gonna build off each other in an improv kind of way. So a human machine is where we are going to play off of the contributions of each other. So adults, participants, everyone, I would like for you to join us. And basically If you're on video, you're going to do two things. One, emotion. So this morning you worked with Lawanda Rains, who is a dancer who's near and dear to my heart. She's amazing. And you heard from a singer. And so we're going to combine movement and a sound. If you're just on sound, then that is a-okay. You can participate by adding a sound. So someone is going to start with just a repetitive motion. So it might be like, and like our Zoom windows are all in a different place for all of us. For me, Spencer is right next to me. So if I went like this, I don't know where I am for you, Spencer, but if I go like this and make a sound, do you think you could play off of that a little bit and make a different one? So ready?
Oh.
You can do it. You can do it. I know you can. Ready? Nice. And then can you add a sound to that? It's fine. Yeah, there we go. Clap. So so you can pause for just a moment, because if you go early, you're going to have to repeat the motion and the sound kind of the longest. So what will make this fun is if you let go of like, what will look amazing, and you just do something. It doesn't have to be brilliant. It just has to be spontaneous. Who's in? Thumbs up. Yay. Okay. So this will be fun. This will be fun. I promise. The more you participate, the better it will be. So grownups and students, would anyone like to get us started? Oh, look at that. Okay, there. Oh, we can't hear you. Garcias, we can't hear you. So everyone unmute. And then you have to keep doing that. You can do it at different rhythms until everyone is participating. No one can stop till everyone's on board. Ready? Okay, so someone build, jump in.
Ooh, 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 stop, ooh, ooh, ooh,
We can do it.
Come on, Yoshi.
Okay, ready? The machine is shutting down. Okay. So observations. Would anyone like to share a quick observation how that went? Just stay unmuted and jump in.
It's hard to look at the screen when you're looking at your partner.
And did you need to look at the screen? Oh, because you were trying to play off, but you guys were the first ones.
Well, we wanted to see what everybody else was doing, but it was really hard.
All right. Other observations.
You started out
A
strong.
lot of the movement was with people's hands.
Yeah, a lot of us are sitting, so we used hands. And it started off strong. Did it get a little wonky do as we went along, or?
Yeah, for sure.
People started getting active, so.
See the screen.
It was very chaotic.
Chaotic. Okay, so let's do this again. We're gonna build on that. Is chaos okay? Is it okay?
Yes.
I think let's do it again. This time, pick a different movement. I noticed that we tended to go beep. We were a little high. I didn't hear the lows, but I have hearing loss. But maybe think about if someone's already going high, you go low, or you can do whatever you want. Okay, let's try again. Would someone new like to start us off? I saw it, Julio. I want you keep going.
Oh, me?
Yeah. Weren't you starting something?
Oh, well, it was gonna. All right, you want to do it? Well, it's gonna be beat like that. So I don't know what we're doing.
Okay, I put you on the spot.
Yeah.
Are you ready? You don't have to be on the spot. Anybody else want to jump in?
Just about that. Glass, be careful, I'm afraid of glass table.
Okay, here.
All right, let's begin. Okay.
Okay. And then jump in, people.
Can't do that forever. I'll do it.
Oh, whoa.
Okay.
Whoa. Whoa.
Bom, bom.
Whoa. Whoa. Whoa.
Bom, bom.
Whoa. 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 Whoa.
Bring it down.
Whoa.
Down. Come back in. Come back in. Okay, new observations. How was that different?
You had more of a beat this time.
Yeah, you started us off with a beat. I think that really helped set some internal rhythm to our actions. That was cool. All right, what else did you notice that
For
time?
me, when people started making a bunch of different sounds, it reminded me of this little game you could play on your phone when you were a kid. It was like My Singing Monsters or whatever. I don't know if y'all know what that game is, but it's just like you have like I played it when I was like younging, so it was like it reminded me of that.
Yeah, I see people saying yeah. I noticed just in my window, I felt like I saw more creative approaches. Like it started to vary more than the first time. Do you guys feel like that?
Yeah.
I started seeing some props coming in, some different motion. So what I want to ask now is, how does this work relate to leadership? When do we have to build off of other people's ideas to bring a concert of an approach together? And I'm hoping you use an example to kind of dive into this. So how do we build off something like this as leaders, where play comes into the picture, improv, like coming up with ideas and being vulnerable to make a mistake, perhaps? So maybe take a piece of that experience and what it meant for you, and share an example of where that played into a leadership or a group dynamic.
I can go. So like with the whole activity that we just did, if one person started, and then people kept adding on, and they feel like everyone can put in like input to it. I want to apply that with what all the activities we did before. When I first started in my first group, I was scared to talk, but then someone else talked. And then after that, I felt a little more comfortable to share my ideas. So it was kind of the same thing we just did.
If you can relate to what Katora just said, can you add like a thumbs up? Like if that speaks and resonates with you, awesome. Thank you. Someone else jump in. How does this relate to?
So like anything?
Yeah.
Like, anything? Okay, so I play baseball. So I would say one thing is like there's one game, our team is down by like 3 or 4, and my coach likes to call this pass the torch. So like, you know, when we're hitting offensively, someone gets a base hit, and then another person gets a base hit. It's like a infection getting spreaded more and more, or disease, whatever you want to call it. So he likes to call it pass the torch. You know, be the first one out there, be the first one, you know, to do the job, get the job done, but also have each other's backs. You know, it's all about the teamwork and how you play and your attitude towards the game.
Thank you for sharing that. I think that speaks beautifully to, one, being a leader and going first takes some vulnerability. And I totally put Spencer on the spot, and I put Julio on the spot. And there's that initial like, I don't know. But once you do it, as Katora is saying, you build on that, and something magical can happen. Okay, one more comment.
Well, I was actually gonna add. Go ahead.
Yeah.
You're good. You're good.
Oh, okay. I would say that it really shows how leadership isn't just being the one person in charge. It's also being able to work with other people. And it reminded me of like earlier in our group project, one person would say, hey, I'm going to go do this thing. That first person that would say, I'm going to do this. After that, other people would be like, hey, I'm good at this. I am willing to do that. And we would build off of each other. And then we start building off ideas, and we start helping each other and shooting out other ideas and what we think we should do. I mean, leadership is really just working together and being your own person and being able to build off of everybody else.
Thank you. And that makes me think about the difference between our first and our second experience. in my observation that it got more creative and with diversity, when we have everyone showing up as their authentic, different, special self, I think more interesting things happen. Would you guys agree? Does that resonate? Yeah. Thank you all so much for going on that journey with me. I appreciate you.
Thank you. It was actually really fun.
Yeah, thank you.
It's more fun in person because then you're like, but Zoom makes it, I think it works on Zoom as well.
Excellent. Julio, did you want to go back and say what you wanted to? I know you yielded the floor.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So for me, like everyone was really saying, it's just like sometimes it takes one person to really motivate the rest. But that kind of reminds me, like sand dunes, right? You know how sometimes when one little piece of sand starts falling and then all the rest just start falling with it. It kind of reminded me of that. And like the building up, one person really motivating and not being scared to do something. Like an example could be like for one of the dance classes, I noticed that a lot of people's cameras were off, almost all of them, except like one person, I think it was Theo. And his camera was on the whole time. And then later on, people would start turning their cameras more and more on because they were like getting more like not as shy, more confident kind of. So I feel like that's what it kind of reminded me of.
Thank you for sharing that. I think being a leader means being vulnerable and brave, and it helps others come into the space and feel comfortable to do that too.
Excellent. Thank you so much. So before we announce the results, I do want to, I'm going to introduce the judges so that you will know who they are. I'm not sure if Cameron Moore is still on. I know he had to go. He was a guest judge. He's not a part of Rotary, but he is someone who's worked with me in several capacities, and I thought that he would be a great person to bring in as a guest judge. We had, I'm going to pin her really quickly so she can wave and say hello, Maureen Patterson, who is Youth Services Director for the district.
Hello, all. You did a
hold on.
wonderful job. I enjoyed watching the presentations and they were all excellent. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Maureen. And we also had, you all met Rudy and Catherine Garcia. I'll pin them one more time so they can wave again and say hello. Thank you so much. And let me see. Like I said, I think Cameron Moore has exited the room, but of course we had Debbie Wall and Stan Wall. I'm going to pin them. And Debbie, I recognize that as district governor. Of course, thank you for all of your support. And if there's anything that you wanted to say to the delegates before we announce the results.
Great. So first, on behalf of District 7600 and myself, thank you all for spending the weekend with us and attending RYLA 2022. As Katina said yesterday, we were going to rock the weekend, and I believe we did that. So thank you all. Thanks to the delegates. Thanks to the group leaders. Hope you all will consider coming back next year as group leaders for delegates. And a special thank you to Ragavan, who continues to be our outstanding tech support. Thank you for all you do and your support to the youth. And last but not least, Katina, thank you for all the work you put into having that rock the weekend. We look forward to future RYLA as we hopefully return to Wakefield next year.
Yes,
Enjoy,
absolutely.
y'all. Great presentations. Anxious to hear the winners.
Thank you so much. Okay, so we did the competition a little bit differently this year, and I couldn't tell the judges. So I had in my mind a number of points that each group needed to achieve in order for there to be winners. And so one of the things that I wanted to do this year in terms of thinking about our theme, reframing, refocusing, and reimagining our communities as more equitable spaces, I love competition. I'm extraordinarily competitive. But one of the things that I observe in our daily life as humans in this planet sometimes, I think competition sometimes can override cooperation when sometimes, especially when we need to think about whether everyone has access to resources and to the basics in life, there needs to be a little bit more cooperation. So the competition this year was to see if we could cooperate. And in that, we would then have everyone to win. And so instead of having first, second, third, and fourth place, if everyone made a certain number of points, we'd all win. And then we would get a chance to decide collectively which organizations that we want to give donations to. So not to hold up space any more time in this space today, because we were supposed to wrap at 6, but we have to make sure we get our numbers straight. And I was so appreciative for all of you sharing. Each group did achieve the number of points, so congratulations. So what you all will get to do is I will send out, and you guys can, what I'm going to ask you to do, I'm going to send out an email and ask you for nominations for organizations that you would like to give to, okay? And also then I'll send that back out and you all can vote on. And so that way everyone will get a chance to suggest and contribute. And we're gonna be a real blessing to some organizations. So thank you so much. I'm very excited about the work that each of you did this weekend. And I want to again commend you because Rotary, we say we're people of action, and you are definitely people of action. You engaged a leadership opportunity, and I'm so glad to hear your feedback and exactly how much that you enjoyed and benefited from this weekend. So thank you so much. Thank you again to everyone who provided support. And I also want to give a special thank you to Leslie Bryant, although she's not here. She is a big RYLA cheerleader, and she was the RYLA chair for several years, and I've worked with her for several years with RYLA. So I definitely want to call her name out in this space and express my sincere appreciation for all of her support. Thank you all so very much. What I will do is I'm going to end the live on YouTube, but I'll go ahead and leave the space open here and I'll also open up the breakouts if you want to go back into your breakouts and kind of have a little group virtual hug and see you later and all of that. Thank you again so much. Shout out to all of you for making RYLA 2022 such an excellent success.
Thank you for the opportunity, ma'am. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.